When it comes to heart attacks early and stuff like that, it's not just, oh, you're genetically predisposed. Like some of these individuals are making themselves genetically predisposed. Like anyone's genetically predisposed if you blast hella and walk around at 300 pounds. What's up guys, Derek, moreplates.com. Today we're going to be talking about the sad state of bodybuilding. This is a post that was made by Brandon Wattis, the natty guy on Instagram. He is a natural pro bodybuilder and is outspoken when it comes to the risks of steroids. Here he posts this post the other day. The sad state of bodybuilding, unpopular opinion. Someone is literally going to have to die on stage before something changes in bodybuilding. The world of bodybuilding is in a sad state right now, and unfortunately, I don't see it improving anytime soon. At the highest level, the top physiques are so enhanced that competitors are literally dying during peak week. It's sad to see, and unfortunately, I don't think it's going to change for the better until a big name literally drops dead on stage during a contest. How did we get here though? Who do we blame? Is there a single person, coach, organization, athlete? The answer is complicated, as there are many guilty parties that contribute to the current state of bodybuilding. Take a look at some of the people who died over the past few years. How are they perceived now? Almost to the status of heroes, but is that really something to be admired? Dying young from self-inflicted abuse doesn't seem something to be emulated to me. Until we stop deifying these people and giving them fame for essentially killing themselves, it won't end. As many of you are already aware, I'm a lifetime natural athlete and strongly promote natural bodybuilding. While it might not be as glamorous as enhanced bodybuilding, with little to no fame, it is still bodybuilding. I don't know a single natural athlete who has dropped dead during peak week or has to be rushed off stage for life-threatening dehydration. Call me silly, but to be enhanced, but to me, I'm assuming, enhanced bodybuilding is more of a game of Russian roulette than anything else to me, and I don't try to understand it as I literally, never mind. The fucking edit thing keeps showing over it. As truthfully, I never will. I'm just sad to see the current state of affairs and hope to God is changes before we see more young people dying. Hopefully it doesn't get any worse, but I sincerely think the only thing that will change the sport forever is seeing a big name drop dead while on stage. So some of the comments. In before, I'm the first natty to die during peak week. Bruh, don't joke about that. I was barely able to walk during peak week. I've had mates who've crashed their cars too. Depletion can be dangerous even as a natty. Yeah, like I would almost, like again, I don't think enhanced bodybuilding is healthy, but I don't think natural bodybuilding is fucking healthy either. But they're not even comparable in the risk, obviously. But with natural bodybuilding, like crashing your fucking hormones and depleting the shit out of yourself and trying to walk around with like hypogonadal test levels, with crashed thyroid, with crashed everything, and then try to get back to a healthy state in order to prepare yourself so then you can do another prep where you crash the fuck into yourself again. Not healthy either. Not nearly to the extent of the atherosclerosis development, cardiomegaly, fucking kidney stress, liver stress, like everything that comes along with enhanced bodybuilding, ridiculously high body weights. But at the end of the day, natural bodybuilding I think is damaging too, just not to the same extent, but has its own risks. Like you would almost think like the most ideal approach, frankly, might be like natural all year, and then during contest prep, maybe you take like TRT. I don't know, but like obviously like bodybuilding in general is not healthy, but I understand his stance here. And to be honest, it might be the case, bro. Might be the case. Like we had, that situation with Dallas, which was pretty fucking frightening, but he went and got blood work done and got his blood pressure checked on video and, everything looked fine. But obviously that doesn't tell the whole story. Like how many people are like, get your blood work done, get this done, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, that is not insightful at the end of the day. Like it is for seeing if you have, a fucked up lipid profile. It's like, oh, I probably have atherosclerosis this entire time being developed. Or if you have a, crashed HDL in your lipid profile as well, or you look at your hematology and your blood viscosities through the fucking roof. These are things, your liver enzyme count through the fucking roof, glomerular filtration rate, crashed. These things you can assess through your biomarkers, sure. C-reactive protein. Do you have insane amounts of inflammation chronically? But again, these are like transient, like snapshots in time, and you can't actually see at a morphological level or like a literal like illustration of your blood flow level, like what kind of inhibition you have for actual, your actual cardiovascular health with, is blood getting around properly? Is your heart functioning correctly? Is it fucking double the size it's supposed to be? What is your kidney function like, as opposed to using like how many bodybuilders are still using creatinine calculated EGFR It's fucking ridiculous, dude. At the end of the day, there are more high quality and insightful diagnostics, and unfortunately expensive ones, that you will need to be getting to be on top of the shit. And even then, that's just to stay on top and see what's going on. But taking the proper ancillary medications and or avoiding the shit entirely, and not being an excessive body weight is going to be the only way to avoid the risk. And I imagine to actually like forcefully like make the organization take drastic measures that are imposed that prevent people from competing unless they've like passed a health screening. I would not be shocked if this is actually the fucking answer, that somebody might need to fucking die on stage first. It's unfortunate, but it's like, you know, how many people have died over the years? And there was like the fact that the statement has been popularized, show me the bodies when it comes to steroids, fucking absurd, dude. Absolutely baffling that people still say that nowadays. Like we've seen time and time again, the accrual of risk that this shit brings. Yeah, shooting a gram of test won't acutely fucking kill you. Yeah, diuretics will kill you acutely. That's why they were testing for them, you know, for 1 year in the 90s. And, you know, that didn't play out, so they stopped testing for it. And sure, maybe that's, you know, you might just end up having people taking designer fucking diuretics at that point that are even more problematic to get around the drug test, which is, you know, a probable outcome. Or individuals that are doing like fucked up things to their bodies to, you know, deplete water that and don't involve the pharmacology. Like it's not, I don't know, like at the end of the day, unless they change the, I don't know, the guidelines on what kind of like physiques they're expecting on stage, like I don't think people are going to, you know, like reel back. And I don't think the expectations of the judges are going to be reeled back on the competitors unless there is some like the things that have happened recently are fucking drastic, don't get me wrong, but it's like there are still a lot of people that are like, oh, like speculating about, I don't know, like no one knows for sure exactly what happened, but we can only speculate when it comes to bodybuilders and, you know, early young deaths, that there is, you know, like when it comes to heart attacks early and stuff like that, it's not just, oh, you're genetically predisposed. Like some of these individuals are making themselves fucking genetically predisposed. Like anyone's genetically predisposed if you blast hella fucking shit and walk around at 300 pounds. Like you're genetically predisposed to your heart getting fucked up when you walk around at 300 on grams of gear, you know? So some people are more tolerant than others, of course, but at the end of the day, eating these diets that are like excessive in calories, insulin's fucking cranked all the time, you're inflammatory as hell, you're using shit tons of drugs, your body weight is excessive, like you are in a chronic state of fucking plaque deposition essentially, unless you're, you know, taking measures to attenuate it. You're in a chronic state of redlining your fucking sympathetic nervous system, redlining your fucking heart, kidneys, liver, etc. You have a lot of individuals who are just, you know, ignoring the warning signs too, and they end up, you know, in a situation like Cali Muscle, which again, entirely preventable in his case. He had like 100% blockage. When you have atherosclerosis development, like that is something that took years to build up. That is something that could have been prevented early. So anyways, let's see. Sadly, the biggest, freakiest division received the highest cash award. Olympia, Rami, 400 grand. Bumstead, 50 grand. They have to either cut back the judging scale for dryness and vascularity or perhaps start testing for diuretics. I'm of the mindset that even if a big name passes during peak week or collapses in stage, they still won't make the necessary changes. Like ultimately, yeah, that's putting stress on your kidneys pretty drastically, as well as fuck all your organ systems realistically. But the excessive body weight, the size these guys walk around at year round, that's the major risk factor at the end of the day. How many fucking 300 pounders do you see walking around who are in their 50s? Not very many, bro. There's a reason why guys who tried to hold their size ended up dying early. Greg Kovac, Nasser El Sabati, Sean Roden was like apparently near 300 trying to, you know, presumably do a comeback recently. But again, a lot of these individuals ignored the warning signs and kept pushing the envelope. Regardless if their drug intake was high or not high, you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't take a lot to put you in a state of like plaque buildup, in a state of redlining your heart. Like you don't need that much drugs to do it if you're walking around at fucking 280. So anyways, it's shitty. I don't think he's entirely wrong. I think it is a sad state. But this is kind of just like where the sport is, bro. And ultimately, if nothing changes, what can you do? Well, get the high quality diagnostics, get cardiac fMRI, get an echocardiogram, like at least. Get an ultrasound of your kidney and your liver. Get your blood work fucking consistently. And actually know what kind of biomarkers to order. Like how many doctors like won't even let you order, let alone, and then bodybuilders that don't know what they should be getting to begin with. And they're just listening to their, you know, guru who frankly only takes this shit seriously now because they're getting put on blast on social media if one of their competitors dies. I'm not saying they all do that, by the way. There's some like actual, like very, very thoughtful and top gurus who like really care about their athletes, but you know, they're few and far between, unfortunately. A lot of them are just, you know, have their cookie cutter protocols of drugs that they throw their guys on, redline them and hope, you know, win as many pro cards and fucking pro shows as they can, and just hope the guy survives, you know? They put them on their fucking citrus bergamot and their, you know, astragalus and their hawthorn berry and their random over-the-counter subs, but none of them understand fucking statin implementation. None of them understand ezetimibe. None of them understand angiotensin receptor blockade. None of them understand sympathetic drive, using beta blockade, attenuating that. None of them understand like actual fucking ancillaries that are useful. And instead they still have their guys on fucking Arimidex for their ancillaries. They have them on, you know, whatever it is that they deem to be the, you know, the bro lore forum style cycles. And again, I'm not saying all gurus. There are a lot that are good and are actually actively trying to further their education and preserve the health and longevity of their athletes, because ultimately, this is all for fucking money at the end of the day. You're trying to build a legacy, build a profitable enterprise that's built through your brand, and becoming a sick bodybuilder is a way to, you know, cement your name in the history books and also become more profitable through your endeavors in bodybuilding. And the longer you can do it, as healthy as you can, the more fucking muscle growth potential you'll have long term, and the more money you'd be able to make too, and the more opportunities you have to build up your legacy. So the fact that guys are not taking seriously such basic implementations as the diagnostics, as the fucking angiotensin receptor blocker, like that kind of stuff, it's not that hard to do, bro. Like, especially the ancillary medications, like they're readily accessible now. It's just unfortunate that a lot of doctors are not proactive about preventative medicine, and they will make you jump through fucking hoops to get it. But that's why you need a high quality doctor in your camp who actually understands the risks of this shit. Hence my passion when I bring forth Merrick Health Services, getting a high quality doctor who actually understands what the fuck they're talking about and the kind of context that goes into your high risk state. This is where the doctors at my clinic are fucking clutch. And also for individuals who are just natural and want to optimize their state of health, actually getting individuals who are on the cutting edge of staying on top of endocrinology, biology, the literature about pharmacology. Those individuals, like, it's fucking critical you get a doctor in your corner who knows his shit. Because at the end of the day, like, a lot of this stuff is irreversible and you're playing catch up. Like, some of it is, you know, obviously reversible to some extent, but when you're playing catch up, it's a lot fucking harder than when you're just preventing it through preventative medicine and being proactive. So again, you know, my unfortunate fucking debacles trying to get on my hands and knees asking for a basic lipid profile in Canada have led me to a frustration point where I'm like, fuck this shit. Like, I'm eventually going to like make this shit right. And you know, right now we have the entire country covered with the US for Merrick Health, and hopefully 2022 we have Canada covered too, and we're going to be expanding as quickly and aggressively as we can, because this kind of stuff is fucking absolutely imperative that you take seriously. But ultimately, at the end of the day, should you be taking ancillary medications to attenuate the risk of your fucking high risk lifestyle? Like, obviously at the end of the day, the lifestyle itself is dangerous, high risk, not good, and you just shouldn't be doing it to begin with, but you know, it is what it is. So sad state of bodybuilding, and someone's literally gonna have to die on stage before something changes, like actually seriously. You might be right. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Any solutions to this? Any kind of, you know, like ultimately, the onus should be on the athlete for sure, in my opinion, to actually get the proactive, you know, health screening and stay on top of their shit and know when to reel back, or, you know, anything to do with themselves, frankly, is kind of like on the athlete at the end of the day. But the kind of judging criteria being imposed on them, like, that's sort of on the organization. You know, if you're expecting guys to be 270 peeled on stage, then what do you want them to do, bro? You can only attenuate your risk so much with fucking diagnostics and medications. Like, sure, you can definitely move the needle and be a lot safer doing this shit with the proper medications and whatnot, and diagnostics and lifestyle changes and dietary manipulations. But it's still not fucking healthy to walk around at 280 lean, bro. It's very, very stressful. And I think that is the number one risk factor, is the ridiculously high body weights and the amount of food these guys have to throw down to sustain those body weights and grow. So anyways, that's it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What kind of changes can be implemented? Do you think this is what's gonna have to happen before some changes actually happen? All the comments help. They're much appreciated. Like, subscribe, check out my blog, moreplacemordates.com. Follow me on Instagram, @moreplacemordates. Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, Apple Podcasts. If you want to support the channel, you can check out anything I'm associated with in the video description below, including Merrick Health. I mentioned it earlier, so I'm not going to get into too much detail about it, but it's fucking critical that you get a high quality doctor in your camp who's looking out for your best interests and actually understands your situation, context dependent. As well, Gorilla Mind, nootropic formulas, Gorilla Mode pre-workout formulas, designed myself from scratch. My recommended diet model for gaining muscle and sports performance. Clothing company that sponsors me, literally wearing their shirts right now. And at this point, I think pretty much 60% of my wardrobe that I wear comprises of their stuff. And anything else I'm associated with is all in the video description below. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to you soon.